All right, welcome back to the WPF Power Rankings. We're here in Week 6, where we've held steady through the top 4 right here. Nothing really much changed. The middle had a little shake-up. The bottom team's kind of jostling around for those, just trying to fight for a little position up there. But honestly, we had some stellar play from all the teams this week. As we're going to see here, coming in at number 1, we have the San Antonio Scrubs once again, who we got to see something new. Porygon 2 trying to really get that MVP. As we're going to see an offensive curse set from the Porygon 2. Honestly, didn't know it learned curse, so I saw something new from that, but that was cool to see. Now, unfortunately, his opponent brought the right Bulu to counter this, so it went back and forth here, but Porygon 2 was able to kind of win this matchup, but wasn't able to really do much after that. But honestly, just a strong performance by San Antonio going up against the Marble Magnetons, getting a solid 3-0 victory, just holding tight in that number 1 spot. Number 2, we've got the Reunited Kingdom, who are kind of bouncing back after that tough loss last week against the Miami Manetrics. But we saw some good play just throughout the whole team. Thunderous doing a lot of work here, as we see, taking out the Mega Venusaur with the Z move, and then just honestly was able to get in position later on the match. Just Mamo did some work, as we saw. Toxapex was coming in walling things. Just made it a tough day for not the Violet City, but for the Twin Leaf Dynamo, who just have had a tough time this season getting it rolling. But the Reunited Kingdom bouncing back, coming back strong, and here at number 2. And then once again, at number 3, we've got probably the hottest team in the league right now still in the Midwest Mawile, as they had another strong victory here in Week 6. But continuing to win here in Week 6 against GWS, we had probably one of the most fun matches to watch this week, as this went down to the wire. Kronos giving his opponent all that he could handle, but just was able to outlast, get that 1-0 victory. Was just a fun match, back and forth. Getting the webs up there kind of at the end may have been a factor just to kind of seal the deal, but saving Weavile towards the end was great for Midwest. And just honestly, this team just continues to improve week to week, showing that they can win the close battles, win some big, strong like blowouts in between. So I'm looking forward to see what this team has to do as the season continues on. And coming in at number 4, we have the Tennessee Red Gyarados, who were facing up against the Miami Manetrics this week, who are coming in hot after that win against the Reunited Kingdom. But unfortunately, it looks like Miami just was not expecting the Primate to come. The Scarf was a good thing here, was able to kind of wall out the Zygarde as it got behind the sub at the end. That was a good match from both coaches there. It was fun to see Primate doing some work, as I kind of wish I had picked it up as a Cryogonal in the draft, but a good tier 5. Scarf was a nice touch here. Amoonguss with the Rocky Helmet coming in here to kind of wall off the Lopunny was a good touch, was nice there. But honestly, it's a strong performance by Tennessee. Next week, they got to face off against the Boston Red Sox, so that's going to be a tough one to see how that goes out, the last battle of the admins. And here at number 5, speaking of battle of the admins, we've got the Boston Red Sox going up against the Madison Machamps. And Boston brought their A game, was able to keep Mega Scizor around late, enough bulk to take that Hidden Power Fire from the Porygon Z, so that was nice to see. And then just had just enough to kind of heal up against the Pelipper, enough speed, just great prep by Boston to kind of pull themselves back. After they made those trades, they've really been rolling ever since they had that tough start, but now sitting in a good spot in their division. And just a strong team. Boston improving as the season's getting deeper. Nothing surprising from this coach. Maybe this is the year. If he keeps this up, he might get himself another second place. And at number 6, we have the Madison Machamps, who have been on a little bit of a downslide here. Unfortunately, just weren't able to kind of get another. Can't turn this losing streak around right now, it seems. Interesting to see the Pelipper didn't have didn't have Drizzle. That was nice tech there to kind of avoid getting anything from his opponent, and was able to take big damage on the Mega Scizor. So that was cool to see. I thought that was a mistake when I was watching the match. I was like, oof. But Panda should be able to turn this around, as he's sitting in the middle spot. His division's kind of catching up to him now. So we'll see if he's able to claw back and get a spot in the playoffs as we hit this midway point in the season. But Madison Machamps kind of sitting there about 3-3 right now. Next week, play the Miami Manetrics. We'll see how they do. And here at number 7, we have the Indianapolis Volts. Now, unfortunately, Indy did not have the best week this week against Milwaukee, who Milwaukee also is starting to climb into this a little bit. We'll talk about them here in a second. But right here makes a big oof against the Raikou. who gets behind a sub, and that's pretty much it from there. The Shaman was not able to break down the Raikou, and just it was pretty much GG from this point. But not going to be too concerned. Not going to really knock Indianapolis too much. It's just one match. We'll see how they do next week and week 7. So we'll see how Indianapolis does. But right now, we'll keep them right where they're at there at that number 7 spot. And coming in at number 8, though, is we see you in the comments, my boy, Milwaukee. Let's see. They just kind of did what they needed to do with that Raikou. And once he got behind that sub, it was pretty much GG. Had the right prep here, right hidden powers. They will take the Gastrodon down. Just strong 6-0 performance. And this team's actually starting to claw back, and they've got themselves in a good position to get into the playoffs if they keep this up, as they're playing out of their minds ever since, I believe, ever since they said they were going to in the comment section in that first video a while back. So, Milwaukee, keep it up. We like what you're doing. Exciting to see one of the legendary dogs get a little sweep there. And let's see, coming in here at number 9, we have the Miami Manectric, who, after their big win last week against the Reunited Kingdom, were facing off against the Tennessee Red Gyarados, and just unfortunately did not have enough to handle that Primate. Kind of threw him through a loop. I loved the Raichu tech here. The Endeavor was cool. Just unfortunately wasn't able to get past the Rotom with it. But a good match. This team honestly is in a good spot where they're at right now, so I'm sure they'll turn this around. They got the last little bit of a tough challenge coming against the admins next. They got, I believe, they got Panda, so good luck on that one. We'll see how that goes. Here at number 10, we have the Grandsteraptors, who made great use of Xurkitree here, using that Beast Boost to kind of plow through the majority of Farmland's team, and just had a strong performance. Xurkitree showing its worth there. And just honestly, just tremendous prep on his end. He had enough coverage throughout and just did a good job and moves himself up into the power rankings. And in at number 11, we've got the Violet City Vileplume, who've kind of been on a little bit of a downslide since week 3, I believe it was. And so hopefully they'll be able to turn it around, as we see here against Seattle. And just honestly wasn't able to kind of get through Vaporeon. And then once Scolipede got in, just kind of wasn't prepared for the setup there. That sub, once he got it up, just kind of went through the rest of the team. He should have switched Mudsdale in a little bit earlier. May have been able to kind of keep the differential down. Maybe he kept himself in the match. But just wasn't able to get past that wall of Vaporeon and Celesteela. So just a tough week. Tough opponent. I mean, these two go way back. I know they know each other pretty well. But we'll see if Violet City can kind of get back in the game this season. And let's see. Coming in here, we got Seattle, as we just saw here, made a great work here of Scolipede. And just kind of waiting to the right moment to let it go off. But sitting behind the sub was great, because it didn't let the Oricorio just kind of get a free dance there. And he's able to just plow through like a big chunk of the team with Scolipede. Once that Mon gets going, it's pretty scary to stop. So it looks like Seattle, after a little bit of a break, is kind of come back, starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. Probably going to make a little run towards the playoff. The Gold Conference is pretty tough, but Seattle seems to be picking up some steam. And we've got at number 13, the Marlboro Magnetons, who unfortunately had to go up against the San Antonio Skrelps. We're actually ready for the Porygon 2 set that San Antonio brought with the blue. Was able to kind of whittle that down to where it wasn't able to do a lot of damage. So good use of blue there. I like the set. It was a cool little tech, the defensive set. Nature's Madness was smart to bring there with the Leech Seed. So good bring by Marlboro. Just wasn't able to kind of close down the match. He was in the match, but not really the whole time. So we'll kind of see how they go once we get past this midway point in the season from Marlboro. But they're kind of, and you need to get some stuff rolling now as we get towards the middle of the season, as they're starting to fall behind in that playoff race. And coming in at 14, we've got the Farmland Farfetch, who are facing off against the Grandsteraptors, and just unfortunately were not able to really get any momentum going. Made pretty good use of Skarmory, was able to keep it in, kind of keep the game alive a little bit, kind of whirlwind and out the Xurkitree from here to there. I'll give him credit. He was able to keep hazards on the field throughout a lot of the match, which was honestly kind of funny to see Skarmory just staying in there and just willing itself to keep those spikes, and then just kept him in the match. But honestly, it just wasn't a strong showing by the Farmland Farfetch. They were just kind of outpaced the whole time by Xurkitree throughout the match. Hopefully, Farmland's going to get a win here soon. We're pulling for him here next week against the Midwest Mawile. That's a tough matchup going there for him. But I'm sure they'll get a win before the season's end. Kind of play the little spoiler role as we continue on. And at number 15, we've got the GWS Gladiators moving up in the polls for the first time this season. We saw an interesting first turn with the Cofagrigus against the Bug, whose name eludes me at the moment, the Spider Boy. But was able to. It was a good match. This was probably my favorite one to watch throughout the week. Went down to the wire and just missed out on getting that win, that first one of the season. But GWS continues to improve. Honestly, I think they have the potential to really be a spoiler this season, as Kronos is improving each week, as we see moving up from number 16 to 15. And then rounding out week 6, we're going to have the Twin Leaf Dynamo, who just had a rough going here against the United Kingdom in week 6. Sadly, just once again, losing Mega Venusaur early was just hard to come back from, and just momentum just was not in his favor from that point on. Was unable to break Toxapex once the Venusaur went down. And just the new addition of Tornadus T hasn't been able to kind of help propel the team a little bit either. But I'm sure Twin Leaf kind of might make some changes here in the next week or two, and then just get a win here or there. Like I said, like these bottom 3 teams have the potential to play that spoiler role for teams trying to get into the playoffs. They're all good coaches, just kind of having a rough season so far. But that's going to do it for week 6 of the power rankings for the WPF. Do what we got to do, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you week 7 for power rankings, and we're going to have a little bit of a kind of highlight video for the season, kind of see where each team's going to go as well. So we'll keep some content coming out. But all right, guys, we're signing out. This is week 6, WPF.